Kelowna is one of the only regions in all of Canada that is in a semi-arid desert ecosystem, and that means it's dry. We should be providing incentives for our residents, for our farmers, and for commercial businesses to use our water much more wisely. Some of the climate change projections that the Okanagan Basin Water Board have presented show that over the next 20 or 30 or 50 years, we may receive the same amount of precipitation each year under the best case scenario, but more of that precipitation will fall as rain and not as snow. And that poses a problem because we depend on the snowpack to provide a nice steady trickle or supply of water to the city. If more of that precipitation is falling as rain, we don't have the infrastructure to store that water that we use for drinking, for watering our gardens and our lawns and our golf courses and our farms and all of the other things that we need water for. Under the worst case scenario, we will see 50% less precipitation in 50 years than we do today, and that would mean some major shifts in how we use water. So to start preparing for that now and to recognize that we are in a water-constrained valley, there are a number of things we can do and that we're starting to look at. Number one is incentives for rain barrels, for residents to start using rain barrels in their yards, 1 or 2 or 3, for watering lawns and vegetable gardens. In an ideal world, we'll start ripping out lawns as they incent in places like Los Angeles and Las Vegas, where residents are provided cash incentives to take out their lawns and replace them with beautiful xeriscape gardens. We have some excellent resources for xeriscaping in our community, which we can be using. The Okanagan Xeriscape Association has a huge database of plants that look beautiful and don't use very much water at all and are often native to the Okanagan. Treating water that is going to be used for lawns and farms is silly. It's expensive, it's energy intensive. So one of the long-term strategies that we're looking at as a city, and which I'm supportive of, is to separate what water we're using for irrigation, particularly for agriculture, and what water we're using for drinking, so that we don't need to treat the water that we're not drinking. And finally, I think grey water is going to be something we'll have to consider seriously as a community, and allowing not only homeowners to capture and reuse grey water, so that would be the water that you're using in your sinks, the water that's coming out of your shower and your bathtubs. It's relatively clean and it can be used for irrigation, it can be used for flushing toilets, and it can be used for some commercial applications if we were to look at more of a citywide grey water system. So all of those are things that we should definitely be looking at to ensure that our lake levels remain where they need to be to support the wildlife and the natural habitat that our lake provides for many species, but also so that we can have sufficient supply of drinking water for our residents and sufficient supply of water for commercial activities that happen in the city.